What I'd like to do is ask Ken, first of all, where you are now with the project, how far along you are. Are we on the way up, or where are we now?
We broke ground in September of 12. To this point, it's just been digging deeper, getting utilities moved, working with the various cable companies, telephone companies as we dig deeper to discover that there's conduit lines or there's service lines that feed apartment complexes that are adjacent to the building, and some delays have occurred there. We've had to work with all these vendors to make sure different services for apartment complexes get re-engineered within the system so we can continue digging. So at this point, we're, I'd say, a good amount in the ground. Some foundations from a concrete standpoint are currently being poured, and there's 3 cranes on site that I see working very hard. Each day when I'm down there for some other business. That's it from a physical standpoint right now. So just starting to come up out of the ground. So right now there's been a lot of design taking place. I'm meeting with the architect along with our procurement team to make sure we're buying the right building infrastructure, so from a cabling standpoint, to make sure what's being bought as part of the contract is what we're going to need and use when we open the hotel in 2015. So that's a difficult thing to predict. Meeting with vendors for specific in-room or guest service related items is a little too soon now. Vendors do want to talk to me. They do want to understand where opportunities that they see that they're going to have in the future. The television is a very big, important piece of the guest room now. And it's difficult to look at what they have today and say, that's what I'm going to install in 2015. So we're trying to make sure, back to the cabling pieces, that we engineer the building properly so it can be flexible, but not so costly from an installation standpoint that we buy now that we overdo it. So we have to make sure we have flexibility to install systems that we don't know that are going to be available in 2015.
When is the scheduled opening date?
Scheduled opening date currently is set for February of 2015. There's a large conference that takes place in Austin, Texas every year in March, South by Southwest. So there's obviously a big revenue opportunity there to make sure we do open by February of 15. A couple of the different vendors that want to sell today, I think it's very difficult for them to understand that I can talk to them. We can put some planning pieces in place now. We can maybe come to some agreement that yes, that's the technology we're going to want to have in play, whether it's from a wireless in-building standpoint for cellular coverage or wireless in-building for internet-related coverage. But things in that market space might be converging more and more, and there are going to be different options in 2014. And it also makes it difficult to prepare a budget 3 years before a hotel opens, before you actually do the procurement.
I can only imagine. So what do you do right now? I mean, you have meetings for this hotel that's opening in 2 years, and what's your role in these planning meetings?
So the biggest opportunity I have right now is to make sure that the architects and the people actually installing the cabling understand the what, the where, the why, the how. Building automation systems or building control systems, door systems, because those are things that are usually bought by the general contractor and installed on the physical door before anybody from an IT standpoint really comes in to do what that we need to do. So it's meeting with them from a design standpoint to have them understand the purpose of what we're trying to do in the guest room, whether it's from a telephone, a television, or from an internet standpoint. The building automation system, I think, just because of the cost of energy and trying to be a more green environment, has been something challenging for everybody from a construction standpoint to understand why we would want to do what we want to do. It's also speaking with the various vendors that are there and having them really give us a value proposition on why we would want to buy an XYZ system or an ABC system. So it's a lot of education that's taking place. It's not about the technology right now. It's really about educating our contractor to understand the what, the where, the why, and the how, and our procurement team to understand why that needs to be part of our budget or not part of our budget. So meetings are more with architectural plans in front of you. Meetings are drawing on the whitey board to kind of see what do we think it's going to look like from a cabling environment. So very, not so much on site versus in a meeting room. I think the building infrastructure for cabling is the most important piece that I can do in the planning phase now to hopefully have some sort of look into the future on what's going to be deployed. But I also don't want to be on a bleeding edge situation for this hotel either. I want to make sure that it's something that works to what the guest expectation is.
Okay, it's your last chance until we talk to you 6 months from now, where you're at then. Is there anything you want to leave us with as far as your experience with this build of a 1,000-room hotel in Austin that you've learned or experienced, or that we should all know?
I think the interesting thing is, having been through a 1,000-room hotel build once before, there's a lot of lessons that we learned. There's a lot of great things we did, and there's a lot of not so great things that we did. We're doing a better job involving our hotel operators who are at our current 1,000-room JW hotel to offer advice on what worked, what didn't work, because many times an IT guy sitting at a corporate office doesn't really know how things are going to work at the hotel and what's really feasible that works effective for the guest. Audio-visual components are something that I think I'll have a better decision on and direction on in the next 4 to 6 months as well. When I'm in Vegas in a few months, I'm going to go to a couple of MGM hotels. That's the nice thing about being in this industry. People are willing to share what they're actually using and what's actually in place. So looking forward to make some decisions on some audio-visual components. I'd say that's a big core component that's bought through the general contractor that needs to have a decision made soon.
Okay. Well, it's funny you brought up the 1,000-room hotel in Indianapolis that was built and all, and I remembered how it gets a little stressful toward the end. So you're in a very calm, relaxed state right now as you start planning the opening 2 years from now. So good for you that you can maintain your composure. Let's check with you 6 months, and then 6 months from there, and 6 months from there, and we'll watch you age dramatically over this period of time.
I think I'll have much less, and it'll all be gray.
Good attitude. Well, thank you very much for your update. And we'll look forward to talking to Ken 6 months from now and say, now what's going on? And he'll surprise us with some unexpected things that might have happened along the way. Thank you.
Thanks.